Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Tuesday, December 3rd, 2013. If you're listening and wish to watch this broadcast, go to www.catex.com. Goldman Sachs has offered a bearish assessment of the US property and casualty insurance and reinsurance sector. The analysis from the financial house downgraded reinsurer Everest Re as well as W.R. Berkley. They moved them to sell. They also moved the giant insurance company Travelers from buy to neutral. The assessment said that investors should, quote, avoid reinsurers altogether, citing competitive pressures on their business models from alternative reinsurance capital. They also shifted their view on the US P&C sector to cautious, predicting that high expectations, elevated valuations, and sensitivity to interest rates will make it difficult for companies to repeat their 2013 performance. Well, if Goldman had concerns, they're only elevated now because the ratings house Fitch said that this year's largely inactive U.S. hurricane season will in fact lead to low double-digit declines in U.S. catastrophe reinsurance pricings for the January 1st renewals. This is despite the fact that inflation, rising populations, and ever more concentrated property development in peak risk zones such as the U.S. East Coast continue to make insurers very nervous. For example, if Hurricane Andrew, which struck the U.S. in 1992 and produced insured losses of about $15.5 billion, was to strike in the exact same spot again today, it would produce claims of about $57 billion. Meanwhile, premiums are going down. Figure that one out if you can. Here's a reason to stay out of long-tail casualty business. Remember Thalomide that produced about 10,000 birth defects beginning in the late 1950s? Well, it's still going. A class action suit over birth defects linked to Thalomide was settled in Australia yesterday. The British distributor of the drug agreed to pay victims about $81 million US. Lawyers representing Australian and New Zealand victims said that a settlement had been reached with the drug firm Diageo, which owns the defunct Thalomide distributor, the Distillers Company. There's also a German company called the Grünenthal Group, which had ended up owning the carcass of one of the pharmaceutical companies that made the drug. The suit against them was dropped. An estimated 10,000 children globally were born with deformities, including the absence of arms and legs. The situation in Thailand has changed dramatically. The police signaled that because of continuing use of tear gas and harm being done to police officers in the ongoing protests, they would simply give up. They said that we are all Thais. As a result, citizens are free to go wherever they want. One of the places the citizens decided to go was to the office of Prime Minister Sinatra. They're there now. They're cheering and blowing whistles and happily proclaiming the success of their efforts. Meanwhile, their leaders are saying they are not finished until the Prime Minister and her government resign. Well, there's a reason why auto insurance rates in the Northeast are so high. Here's a case in point. On Sunday morning, early at about 6:30 a.m., just south of Worcester, Massachusetts, on a stretch of Interstate 290, there was a stretch of black ice. According to one observer, the road was a sheet of ice. It was like you went skating with your kids. It was that bad. The result, a 65-car pileup that lasted about 3/4 of a mile. Nobody was seriously injured. However, it took authorities about 4 hours to unravel the mess. Undoubtedly, there will be a number of collision claims that come in. Meanwhile, the Massachusetts Insurance Commissioner Joseph Murphy, speaking a few days ago, said that auto insurance rates in his state are trending up, but the cost for car insurance in Massachusetts still remains lower to what it was during the year 2007. In 2007, new reforms were introduced to the no-fault law. Commissioner Murphy also provided an update on insurance claims that have arose from the Boston Marathon bombing. He said that incurred losses on property seem to be about $2.5 million, and health insurance-related claims total about $23 million. Another update on the Embraer 190 crash in Namibia. The Namibian chief air traffic controller said that the plane, which was operated by a Mozambique airline, fell from about 36,000 feet over the space of about 12 minutes before it hit the ground. Mozambique Airlines are banned from flying into the European Union because of safety issues. This particular airline is known in Portuguese, which was the colonial power, as Linhas Aéreas de Mozambique. They say that the Embraer 190 was purchased brand new late last year and it completed just under 3,000 flight hours. As I said yesterday, the black box has been recovered. This is of import because the Embraer 190 is in extensive use worldwide for commuter jet runs. The big inferno at the Kenyan airport in Nairobi, Kenyatta Airport in August, is beginning to settle. The Kenya Airport Authority yesterday received a check for a little bit under $6 million US as partial payment for that fire. According to the APA insurance company, this is one of the biggest claims we've ever paid. Reinsurance companies such as Kenya Re, Zep Re, Swiss Re, and Africa Re are on the ticket apparently. They're going to help foot the bill. APA therefore says it does not expect a big impact on its balance sheet as a result. And the annual corruption list is out. This would be corruption in nations in dealing with government and also government contractors. The Transparency International group has released this list. 5 Arab countries are ranked among the 10 most corrupt nations. The 5 worst are Somalia, North Korea, Afghanistan, Sudan, South Sudan, and Libya. And the 5 or 6 best are Denmark, New Zealand, Finland, Sweden, Norway, and Singapore. The United States and Britain are not on the list, either list, either the good list or the bad list. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.